Sales figures for December for NIO, Xpeng and Li Auto have just been released, and there is one very, very clear winner. Hello my friends, welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans and I'm coming to you here from Melbourne, Australia. It's the 1st of January. It's about 11 p.m. at night here, and these figures have just been released, so it's time to get on, film a video for you and give you that information. Now there's one very clear winner, and I am kind of stoked that this has happened because I did invest a bit of money into this one company because I believed it would be the winner this year. But there is a little bit of a catch to this story. So hang around till the end when I'll explain to you that things are not quite as they seem. So it's the start of January 2022. Electric car sales have just gone crazy in China for the last 12 months, and sales figures have been released for the final month of the year. Xpeng has crushed December, selling more than 15,000 electric vehicles in December alone. Now, in the same month last year, Xpeng sold less than 6,000. So that's a huge increase for the brand. Now, NIO's December and fourth quarter deliveries were lower than those of Xpeng and Li Auto, although its average vehicle sales price was higher than the other two. Now that is the interesting part about it here. NIO's sales do appear to potentially have a cap on them because of the price. Xpeng, on the other hand, plans on selling a lot of different electric vehicles at a lower price, and so therefore it appears as they have quite a bit more potential globally to sell more cars. Now, US-listed Chinese electric vehicle company NIO, along with Xpeng Motors and Li Auto, have all released their December delivery figures today. And many people all over the world are curious as to how the three unicorn companies, that's what they're called, have performed in December. Now, Xpeng maintained its lead in November and December after having the highest delivery volume of these three companies in October. Xpeng delivered 16,000 units in December, ahead of NIO's 10,489 and Li Auto's 14,087. Now, both Xpeng and Li Auto had their single month record high deliveries in December, record high forever, while NIO's deliveries were down 400 units from November. In terms of the year-on-year growth rate of December deliveries, Xpeng was 181%. 181% growth. Li Auto was 130% and NIO was 50%. Now I just want to point out one interesting fact that some of you may not be aware of. Xpeng builds electric cars in-house. NIO has a partner who builds their electric cars for them. Now, NIO's deliveries were the lowest among the three companies and also had the lowest year-on-year growth rate, clearly. Now, it's possible they are limited by capacity though, with the company's executives previously saying that the number of batteries supplied by CATL is still the ceiling for their deliveries. Now, I do find that hard to believe considering CATL is the largest battery company on the face of the planet, but it is possible considering they don't use lithium iron phosphate batteries, that the type of chemistry used in NIO's batteries, it's possible CATL doesn't make enough of those batteries. I just think it's unlikely. Now, it's also worth noting that Xpeng began deliveries of the new sedan, the P5, which I made a video about, and that video was featured on Clean Technica. Thank you guys for featuring my video. And I compared the Xpeng P5 to a similar priced car, the Toyota Camry. And guess what? The Toyota Camry really came out looking like a bucket of shit in comparison to the Xpeng P5, which is a far superior vehicle, which costs a similar amount of money. Now, Xpeng also released the G3 SUV facelift in the last few months and has introduced several derivatives of the P7 and the G3i. Now, Li Auto, in addition, announced a facelift of its single model, the Li 1, in May, and they began deliveries in June. Interesting to note, isn't it, that Li Auto was able to sell so many vehicles of a single model. Imagine if they had, say, 2 or even 3 models. I wonder if they could potentially double or triple their sales. Now, NIO, on the other hand, in comparison to Xpeng, has no new model deliveries for the entire year of 2021, though it did announce the ET7 sedan on January the 9th, 2021, and it will begin deliveries of that vehicle in late March, and the ET5 sedan, which I made a video about, I'll put a link in the description below to that video, on December the 18th, which will begin deliveries in September. Now here's a breakdown of the different models from these three companies. NIO, they sold 4,939 ES6, 2,762 ES8, 2,768 EC6. Xpeng P7, they sold 7,459 of those, 5,030 of the P5. I can see Xpeng's sales potentially the same month next year being, I think, around about triple, maybe even 5x what they sold this month as the P5. They're going to sell that vehicle in other countries around the world next year. And that vehicle, in my view, will become one of the most popular electric cars in the world next year. Then they had the G3 series, which they sold 3,511 of those. Li Auto, just the one car, 14,087 for the Li 1. Fourth quarter deliveries, how do they compare? Xpeng had the highest number of deliveries in the fourth quarter at 41,751, ahead of NIO at 25,000 and Li Auto at 35,000. Now, to put this in context, we don't know yet how many pure electric vehicles BYD sold over the quarter, but I estimate it will be approximately 120,000. Now, this is the second quarter in a row that Xpeng has been the highest delivery volume among these three different companies. And it's very interesting if you have a look at deliveries for these three companies over the past 2 years. You'll see that NIO actually led the way for most of that time. In fact, they led the way for 6 out of 8 quarters. It wasn't until the 7th quarter where they started to lose a little bit of ground. And they've lost quite a lot of ground over the last quarter, their most recent quarter, to their two big rivals. But are they actually their biggest rivals? Has Xpeng moved into a different territory here? Potentially they have. Now, it's worth pointing out, electric vehicle deliveries in China have started to change in a very interesting way. How so? Well, new electric car manufacturer WM Motor delivered 5,062 vehicles in December. That's an increase of 96% year on year. NITA delivered 10,000 units in December, exceeding 10,000 for the second straight month. NITA is a new electric vehicle manufacturer who have increased sales of their vehicles for 11 straight months. Now, another player in China is Zeekr, who have delivered 3,796 electric vehicles in December, their third delivery month, which is a massive increase over their second and first delivery months. Now, Zeekr is an all-electric car brand owned by Geely. What about another promising company, Leap Motor? Well, Leap Motor delivered 7,807 electric vehicles in December. That's an increase of 370% year on year. And what about Voya? Well, Voya delivered 3,330 vehicles in December. That's an increase of 192% from November. 192% over last month. So that just gives you a snapshot of what's going on. There's a lot more than 3 electric vehicle companies in China. In fact, those ones I just listed are just the tip of the iceberg. Now, the good news here, if you've invested in Xpeng, is that they delivered 41,751 electric vehicles in the fourth quarter of 2021, compared to their previous guidance of around about 35,000. So they've exceeded their target by about 10%. So the catch here, though, is the actual cost of the cars. It's worth noting that NIO targets a very different market from Xpeng, and there is a big difference in the price of their products. NIO targets the luxury car market, and it aims to take the market share of ICE vehicles from German luxury car companies, including BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi. Well, so do Tesla, BYD, and Xpeng. But the price of NIO's cars is quite a bit more expensive than it is of its competitors. Xpeng targets a broader market, hoping to attract a younger demographic with a more affordable price and pretty sexy products as well. While Li Auto, on the other hand, targets families with children, becoming one of the top choices for young parents. So when it comes to pricing, NIO has the highest price models. Of its 3 SUVs currently on sale, the cheapest, the ES6, starts at RMB 358,000. Its highest priced SUV is the ES8, with a pre-subsidy price of $470,000. That's just the starting price, by the way. Remember, those prices also don't include the batteries. Xpeng's cheapest model, the G3i, has a price range of RMB 150,000 to RMB 187,000 after subsidies. And then their most expensive model, the P7, has a price range of RMB 220,000 to 410,000 after subsidies. So in terms of average sales price, NIO is the highest of these three companies, and Xpeng is the lowest. In the last 11 months of 2021, the average sale price of NIO vehicles was RMB 413,800. What that means is that NIO's vehicles rank fourth in average sales price, below Mercedes-Benz's RMB 482,000, but above Lexus at 403,000, and well above the auto industry average transaction price of 180,000 in China. On the other hand, Li Auto's average sales price for the first 11 months of 2021 was 333,600, compared to Xpeng at 237,000 RMB. So as you can see, the average sales price for a NIO vehicle is nearly 50% higher than Xpeng's average transaction prices. This may be a good thing in some context. There might be more margin in there for NIO, but at the same time, Xpeng, I believe, is the car company in China with the most potential in 2022, outside of course, BYD. Thanks for watching the video, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye-bye.